hitchhiking. Will we ever learn? The answer is no. While it isn't commonplace now, it still poses a huge risk to your safety. And today we'll talk about one such case where questions still linger in the air. Okay, let's go. Which demographic do you think has the highest risk of sexual assault or murder when it comes to hitchhiking? That's a question to you.
I've got nothing appropriate to say.
Oh.
Which demographic? Women?
Sure, we'll go with that. Teenagers. Teenagers are 50% of the victim pool, according to Wanderley magazine. And you can bet your butt that a large, disproportionate number of those would be females to males. Putting Dana Bradley right in the crosshairs. Maybe don't bet your butts on that, because they did also go on to say that females and males are equally at risk. But for the sake of today's case, let's apply the males can be garbage rule, because it is actually 86% more likely that the assailant will be a male between the ages of 24 and 30.
When's the frontal lobe? Is it frontal lobe in men? Look at me. Is it 25?
25 is when they say is the average age that it's developed. But they're still doing that up until 30 on average.
Yeah, that's why I was like, interesting.
So it's developed and then they know what they want to do.
Yes, I want to do that.
The difference between the crimes when it comes to hitchhiking with the male versus females thing is that men are more likely to be robbed, whereas women are more likely to be raped.
Huh, that's very interesting. Robbing men?
Yeah, because the men that are doing the crime are probably mostly heterosexual. We know that's not a fact for everything, but...
That's interesting. Because normally you go for the weaker, you know what I mean?
At least in the US, where they... I didn't know what to add.
That's fine.
This data and statistics is based on like the US, and there have been over 500 reports of interstate murders since 1979 and 175 reported rapes during a hitchhiking event, which I think is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Rape or hitchhike. Just don't do either.
Oh, you're so boring. Which brings us to Dana Bradley. Dana was born on July 24th, 1967 in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. Question mark?
Where's your You've had Canada?
Come on. Look, okay, you laugh, but I was looking it up and it didn't really come up with that. It come up with like Newfoundland and Labrador. And I was like, who? Because that doesn't make sense to me. So then I had to go through I went over an hour looking at geography because I was like, how does it even work? It is Canada, but it's not connected to mainland Canada. It's just this big fuck off giant island, which is like
Straddie.
To their coast.
But not big.
Bigger. Like it's a big island.
Newfoundland
and Labrador. Like Newfoundland.
Oh, Newfoundland.
But they pronounce it Newfoundland.
I thought it was like Newfoundling. I was like, that place does not sound real.
It does sound like a fairy tale if you say it wrong, sure.
Yeah. Well, right, duh.
My back is sore. I'm bitchy today.
I
still love you, though.
I love it.
Dana was an artistic child and had many friends, but would only make it up to 9th grade before she went missing.
Oh.
Pause. When I was researching this and I was trying to find things about her childhood, and spoiler alert, I couldn't, I was thinking about myself, like I normally do in general, about like parent-teacher interviews and that kind of stuff, and your mum comes after work, she's tired, she had a long day, and she's sitting there and then the teacher says something like, he was artistic or creative this year. That's kind of them just having to try to put like a positive spin on something, and I'm not saying the same with her, but that sounds nicer than he was a rambunctious little shit, he was fucking annoying, he wouldn't calm the fuck down, he wouldn't focus, he's pissing me off. So that's what
That was very aggressive.
Oh. Sorry, listeners.
You're like pointing at me going,
about myself, though. And again, this is not me saying that about her, but then it also makes me think that maybe there's a chance that she was a little bit cheekier than what they're letting on, which actually makes her more human to me. And I kind of connected with that. And I was like, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Play. On December 14th.
I love that because you do that in my ones. You like pause and I'm like, yes, and I love it. So continue doing that.
Play. On December 14th of 1981, Dana went to her friend Penny's house after school to hang out for a little bit, but she had to make it back to her family home because it was her mum's birthday. So she had to get back there to celebrate with them.
80s birthday party. Fuck you.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Scrunchies, crinkled hair, bad fashion.
Where's my spandex?
Aerobics.
My curls, yeah.
Yeah.
Curly hair.
Leg warmers.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Now, 5 points to Slytherin if you can figure out how she was going to get home from Penny's house.
Bus. Taxi.
Hitchhiking. No, she could have ride on Thomas the Family fucking friendly tank engine. Yes. She hitchhiked.
Oh, why would you hitchhike? Do you know how far?
Well, see, that's the thing. First of all, let's point out the fact that she's only 14 years old anyway.
Oh, fuck, yeah, no.
But it is the 80s. It's early 80s. So at the time, they obviously didn't cotton on to what was happening in the 70s.
Yeah, I was just about to say, no, we've gone through the 70s, serial killers.
Now, I don't exactly know where her friend lived because they didn't actually mention any of that. But the last time she was seen was on Topsail Road. And given how long that road is, I have actually no way of pinpointing where the last place was that she was actually seen alive. Naturally, once Dana didn't come home, especially after calling her mum to let her know she was on the way, a mother would worry, and that's normal. And sorry, can I also just say, what a fucking shitty birthday present.
Yeah, like
What
every
a
year.
shitty birthday present. Yeah, your birthday is going to be a reminder
Yeah, it's fucked.
of the day that your daughter went missing.
That's so fucked.
So, we know that she was last seen somewhere on Topsail Road, but how and by whom? Well, upon failure to return home, her family contacted the Royal Newfoundland Constable. Yeah, you've heard of them?
Yeah.
Shit, man. Her family contacted the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, which we'll just refer to as the RNC because I'm not saying that again. Anyway, they would investigate her disappearance and would end up finding a couple of people who could confirm a sighting.
Shit. Oh, it just makes me like 14.
Just a little baby.
It's so fucked.
Harry and John Smeaton, brothers.
Smeaton?
Nice to Smeaton you.
Oh, Smeaton.
Hurdy-gurdy fin dirty-hurdy. Yeah.
The Smeaton Maton. The Smeaton brothers.
Well, I mean, it is Newfoundland.
Oh, I like that. Smeaton. What? You Smeaton tonight? Eaton? Smeaton?
Anyway, they were selling Christmas trees in an empty lot.
Oh.
And they saw Dana. And they said that work was really slow, so they were sitting in their car and people watching, which we also know was just in there being judgmental bitches. I would do that.
Part of me is like, creeper. But I'd do that too. People watch. I love doing that.
Right? And like, they were just passing time waiting for business, so it kind of makes sense that they'd try to occupy themselves somehow. Remember, it's the 80s. No mobile phones. I don't know if they would have had any type of handheld device gaming system. Probably wouldn't have been huge then at the time anyway. If it had anything on it, it was probably Pong or Tetris, so it wouldn't have been that fun. So, at first, they thought that she was waiting for the bus and that she was about to get on until she threw up a gang sign. Well, she didn't. It was just her thumb.
Go, go.
And she threw up her hitchhiker's thumb and someone pulled up.
I bet they bloody did.
Did. It was a man, and he was described as driving a beige or tan 1973 to 76 Dodge Dart, or possibly a Plymouth variant four-door sedan with large rust marks. And for the record, they do actually look quite similar. At first, I was like thinking to myself, oh, it would be really funny if I actually take a look at it. They look nothing alike. I think one of these cars were inspired by the other one, so they did look quite similar. And again, obviously not because I know anything about cars, I googled it. Broom, a baroom. Anyway, they saw the man lean over and unlock the door, and again, I disappeared inside myself, and I was thinking about the good old days, and I was like, well, they probably didn't have a button on their side to unlock it, so it makes sense they would lean over. Then I read more, and it turns out that the handle was actually broken on the outside, so he had to reach across to unlock it and open it for her to get in the car.
Nope, nope, mm-mm.
Anywho, they watched her get in the car, close the door, and drive away. And they said that they didn't take the plates down because hitchhiking was pretty commonplace at the time. So they were like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of normal. But I'm still not certain of whether or not they knew her. Like, if they're like, yeah, I saw Dana. Or if they were questioned, they're like, oh, we did see a girl fitting that description. Get into the whatever, do the whoever, whatever, you know? So,
Well.
Yeah. You know what happens to me? You know what I do?
Yeah.
I think, all right, well, I need to try to somehow triangulate where this girl was.
Yeah.
So I tried to piece some things together to figure out where she was, where they were, where she was seen. And I first started by looking at Topsail Road. It's a bloody big road. Then I was like, okay, well, let me just look at bus stops on Topsail Road.
Yeah.
There's over 20 of them. So then I thought, let's look for vacant lots.
Yeah.
Forgetting that it's now 2023.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to do a thing. I literally used overlays so I could try to find out. I looked for places that they sold Christmas trees. I was putting everything together because I was like, I need to have some idea of where it was. As you can tell, this was over 40 years ago and that was impossible. So I literally just wasted my time. But I mean, I looked up photos in the area from the 70s, from the 80s, even into the early 90s, and it was literally a fruitless venture.
Big words. At least you gave it a go, Dal.
Look, I gave it a good old crack, I did.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll try for the crack.
Yeah.
No comment. As she was only 14, the case will get media attention. So her photo gets placed in the paper along with the type of boots and pants that she would have been wearing at the time. There's a composite sketch of the man that was also posted in the same paper. I don't know what to say about the person's artwork. Let's just say that much.
Oh.
And I also don't know who gave the description. I'm going to assume that it would have been the brothers. Why
They
do you-
might not have been very artistic.
Oh, God.
Is it really bad? The sketch.
Oh, the sketch. I mean,
Or it's just more of a no way in hell would you actually help?
no, it's like a no wonder people didn't find you.
Yeah, okay.
4 days after her disappearance, Dale Smith was doing some free Christmas tree shopping. He went to the Nature Mart, Isle Woodlands and Maddox Cove.
Oh, that old
Lol.
chestnut.
Lol. Why can't I say lol? Apparently the place that he went was pretty desolate due to it being so remote, but it was still filled with trash because people used to use it as a dumping site. Who does that? Beautiful, like honestly, I even Google Earthed this fucking Newfoundland and Labrador, and I did spend a little bit longer than I would like to admit in there, just walking around in Street View being like, this place is stunning.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful, I could live, like I want to live in Canada anyway, but I could live there. And then I was also thinking, oh, do you reckon they've got bears there? Because they are separated by like a
yeah.
gulf.
Yeah,
so it's like
maybe.
the bears probably can't swim that far, which means it's like a safer version of Canada. And you know how I feel about Canada.
You love Canada.
Yeah. And the
Canada.
Canadians.
Yeah, the Canada.
I fucking love the Canadians.
Yeah. But, people that litter, throw yourself in the bin.
Yeah.
Throw yourself out of the car.
Get fucked.
Fuck off.
But can I also just say,
Yeah.
coffee crisps. Coffee crisps.
What?
Oh,
What are coffee crisps?
they are a Canadian chocolate bar.
A what? Canada.
A Canadian chocolate bar. And the Canadian chocolate bar is like a waffle bar. And it's got like chocolate on the top and it tastes like coffee.
Coffee and chocolate.
Oh, it's so good because it's not strong. Like it's not a strong coffee taste. It's just like an aftertaste of coffee. Yeah, it's a fucking Canada.
Canada.
Which hopefully our listeners know by now that I love Canada. Oh, Canada.
2,000 years later.
I also heard that there are these things called maple lollies, but it's like little individually wrapped, like boiled candy, but it's made out of maple
Oh, that's cute.
and delicious, and it's in the shape of maple leaves.
Fucking Canada.
I
That's
know.
so lovely.
I've got to fucking go to Canada.
Let's go to Canada.
Come on, go to Canada.
Let's fucking go.
Anyway, Dale Smith, digression in session. So he notices footprints in the snow, leading toward what he thinks is just a mannequin lying on its back. But very quickly realizes that it's a human body.
My mind straight away is like, how fresh? All right. Like, was it snowing? Or was the snow, you know what I mean? Like, how fresh are those tracks, bud?
It's true, but also, like, this is only 4 days later.
Oh, yeah. Also, it's never a mannequin.
If you ever think it's a mannequin, it's
It's
a
not.
human, call the police. And speaking of calling the police, he went to find help. And he was able to find a woodcutter. How fucking Canadian is that? I hope he was a lumberjack. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's straight where I was. It's better.
I'm a lumberjack and I don't... What is the words? Oh, whatever.
That's like Wizard of Oz. I had the biggest crush on Tin Man.
You need to calm down. So he went to find help and he was able to find a wood cutter, and he asked him to watch the area for him while he went to call the police from Shea Heights, which I'm guessing is the nearest town. All of the time I spent on Google Maps, you'd think I would have looked at that. Didn't.
ADD.
Yeah, I'd moved on by then.
Also, I would hate to come across a body. One, because it's a body, but two, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're a suspect.
You're a suspect, that's right, but you also don't know if the perp is still around or not.
But like, you got no alibi to well, you could have taken the body there.
That's right. So you just better make sure you don't touch nothing. Stay far enough away. Take binoculars with you at all times.
Yeah.
Might be safe, but then you kind of look a bit like a pervert. So the body. She was described as laying on her back in a burial position with her arms crossed over her chest, you know, like a
Yeah.
sort of thing, kind of like a mummy but not wrapped in stuff. However, she had her school books placed under her arms
What?
as if she was kind of holding on to them.
That's weird.
She was staged. It was like staged,
Yeah.
right? And because of that, the police, the 1980 police, believed that this showed that the killer was remorseful.
Oh, Canada.
Poor killer. Oh, Canadians, eh? You're so sorry all the time.
Just left the books there. He didn't mean it.
You
That
went
wasn't
Irish.
How the fuck do you come to that conclusion?
Well, see, the way I see it is a lot of the times when someone is murdered or whatever, not or whatever, that makes it sound so flippant. When someone's murdered and the body's discarded, you'll find it in a number of different things. Like sometimes you will find the body covered or like a very light attempt at covering the body. Sometimes you'll find it displayed. So it's someone saying, look, I'm proud, look what I've done. And I think that one, to me, it sounded like they tried to have her remain humanized. Her clothes were on. Like, I was
about to ask that.
I don't think that they're remorseful, and I don't think they're being respectful with what they did.
no.
But I'm basing it off kind of like what the Canadian police, the Newfoundland constabulary said.
Yeah, to me that goes to like a Canunti thing where it's like, look, schoolgirl.
Yeah. Pervs. Anyway, the principal of her school, so the one that she went to, heard about the news, and he was literally walking inside, I believe it was like the dance hall, because they had a dance going on.
Yeah.
He had literally just stepped inside the dance hall when he heard the news, so when the news broke.
Yeah.
So then what was meant to be like an exciting evening for all the students and stuff kind of wasn't so much that, because he then had a meeting with all of the teachers and chaperones that were there. They all kind of separated and grabbed different little groups of people to break the news to them so they would be aware of it, so they could hear it in a gentle way opposed to hearing about it later or through gossip or whatever. So I kind of like that they did that.
Yeah.
Even though it's like such a kind of hard thing to talk about.
Like actually sharing when someone has died, not just making you find out through random people because, I didn't think you needed to know that.
He would go on to say that everyone was in shock because they all believed that she would eventually be rescued,
Yeah.
which is
Canada.
really sad. So they all placed their hope in that, and
Yeah.
it was a bit dashed. And that's kind of what I love about Canada, even Newfoundland. It's kind of like the Canadian spirit shines through, and it's like, well, I mean, yeah, something bad's happened, but something good will happen. We feel like she's going to be found and she'll be rescued and she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, she was found. You got that part right. An autopsy would be conducted and the cause of death was ruled blunt force trauma, and small amounts of unknown male DNA were discovered at the crime scene. Yes, look at your face. They believe that she actually died the day that she went missing. So the same day that she was taken, she was murdered. And while there were no official public reports made about her being sexually assaulted, it kind of looks like people are running with this story that it did happen. And I can't say either way that it did or didn't, but for me, it's kind of more likely that it did. Also, like given the fact that she is a child that was stolen by a man, she had been beaten, they found DNA. They didn't specify what the DNA was.
Yeah.
But, come on.
Yeah.
Oh. 2,000 cars matching the description that was given by the brothers would be examined, 1,000 men questioned, and the investigators were considering that hundreds of them were actually suspects at one time or another. But obviously you can't have one person pick up a person and hundreds of people be a suspect, so that's really strange to me. They even resorted to, can you guess it? No, hypnosis.
Really?
Yes, back in the 90s, they would hypnotize people, trying to elicit more information, maybe, the truth, perhaps, but it seems a little bit shonky to me.
But also, if you're on an island, like wouldn't
Fuck
they
off?
be? Yeah, like wouldn't they be gone by now? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, well, I'm just gonna step out over here now. That's fucked.
It's true, they could just leave. They could go to mainland. They could.
Like, what if they were just visiting? They're not from there.
I mean, they did have a car.
Yeah.
Could have been a rental, but they probably would have looked at that though, I reckon, because they had to keep all that data. Strange to me anyway. There would be one person who would confess to the murder, but would later claim that he was coerced into it after an 18-hour confinement.
Oh.
And he was also an ex-convict.
Oh.
So I don't know if they're just like, take the blame, eh?
Come on.
You know, eh? Take the blame. Do the right thing, eh?
Yeah.
There would be someone else that would actually come forward in 2014.
2014?
Yes, saying that he repressed the memory and saying that it was a friend of the family, so a friend of his family that was also an alleged pedo, that did the whole thing because he was in the car with them when he was a child, claiming that he saw the whole thing go down, including the man, Thomas Carey, make advances which were declined, and she fought back, and then he clubbed her over the head with a tire iron and put her in the boot of the car.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he didn't see the body get disposed of though, and he claimed that the car ended up being buried. And despite the uproar, the police claimed that, well, one, that man's DNA didn't match the DNA at the crime scene,
Yeah.
and two, it didn't really line up with everything else because apparently the guy claimed that the family pedo picked her up from the airport, but she wasn't at the airport. So there are parts of the story that just didn't match. Now, we're not saying that he didn't pick someone else up
Yeah, I was just about to say, shit.
and kill them, but we know it was not Dana Bradley.
Yeah.
There would be a breakthrough in 2016. Now, I say breakthrough very loosely.
Oh.
The police were contacted by GED Match, which is a prolific genealogy company that helps to solve hundreds of cold cases. Hundreds? Which means that their shit's working, right?
Yeah. My eyebrows went up very high.
They did. We can tell there's no more Botox in that forehead.
Oh.
Look at mine.
I need more.
Mine looks like a scrotum now. So, they reached out and they were like, hey, brah. Like, because they're located in America, so they're like, well, dude, tubular, I want to like get some of your sick DNA, bro, and I want to like run our services and shit on that so we can like narrow down on who this bad guy is, yo.
Well, that'd be great, eh?
So of course Ken was like, oh my god, thank you so much, yes.
Yeah.
So they did, and they found that they were able to rule out a ton of people, and the breakthrough is that they discovered that the DNA belonged to, drumroll please, someone who was completely unknown.
Fucking hell. How does that...
That's why I said it.
How?
'Cause-
Oh, don't know.
The funny thing is, that was the result they had before they sent it away. They didn't know who the DNA belonged to.
We got nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
But we can confirm that they're completely unknown.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah.
2016 as well.
2016, that's right. So they're basically able to say, look, we have so many different DNA records. The person that you have there, and this, I guess, is the breakthrough part, I guess, is that whoever that person is not in our database.
Yeah.
And we have thousands, if not millions, of records of people, and they're not related to any of them.
Well, at least it can also, I guess, eliminate innocent people.
It's
Oh,
true. You
shit.
can clear some names if there are
Yeah.
anyone that still had question marks over the head or something. I don't know. There were many theories that they played with. Was the person known to Dana? Because a lot of the times, sexual assaults and murders can be like a friend of the family or a family member or someone that you knew or trusted. Was it a stranger? Was it planned? Was it spontaneous? We'll never know. Because it's now 7 years later and they still remain hopeful, but they're still working on it.
Oh, fuck off. Cold case. Fuck you.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. I thought I already gave it away at the beginning when I said there are questions still in the air.
Well, could
That
be
was
motive.
a long time ago, and we have had a laughing fit since then. So
Oh, that's so fucked. And the scary thing is for me when they don't find someone, it's like, have they done it again? Have they gone to another country? Have they moved somewhere else and they're just out in the wild?
well, I mean, one would assume that moving to a different country or moving somewhere else is probably the same thing, but not me. I see through that. So you're so
Okay.
tired. You're so
Sure,
tired.
that's it.
You're so dumb. No, you're so tired. That's really cute. At the moment, I think I'm going to be in my cold case era.
Okay. Well, thanks for the heads up because they really fucked me
You're
up.
welcome. So there's probably going to be like, I might sprinkle something else through it, but I think I'm going to move from my serial killers into like involving some more cold casey sort of stuff.
Yeah, just fuck me.
No, you're my sister. That's a bit yucky.
Ew.
Yeah, well, you said it.
You're thinking it.
No, I really wasn't.
No.
I'm going to go now because this is getting weird.
Bye.
Bye.